how did you? I think right now, after you tried modeling and acting, you seem to know right now what you like to do. I mean, you've been in a journey of search, to like you say, to in different aspects of entertainment and arts and broadcasting. And right now, you seems you are sure this is the best thing you're doing right now, correct?
Absolutely. But I have to stop you for a second. You said I tried on those things. I've made a successful living on many different careers, which
Yes,
we talk
yes,
about. I mean,
yes,
I own property, I own my own home because of it.
yes.
So
Hmm.
I'm lucky to say I was successful in every single career I've done
Yes,
from when I came to America and then went to school when I first came.
yes,
So I've been successful. It has taken a turn and a turn, and the turns taken have been way drastic, from
yes.
modeling and acting to serial killer books to living out in the ocean for 3.5 years to coming back to being in politics. So that's just, there's so much range that I've done in my career, and I'm on to another adventure. So
Hmm.
what is one better than the other? I don't know, because they're all amazing.
Yes. Tell me right now, how did you make the decision to go from Europe to the States, and what drove you to 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 live there in the States, in California right now?
I've always wanted to be an actress since a little girl.
Yeah.
So, as a little girl, I've always wanted to be an actress, and my father wouldn't send me to acting school because I was always disruptive in my boarding school. So, I knew that my heart was always in one country, and that's Spain. It will always be Spain. There is no other country for me. So, when I was 17 and a half, I was plotting my escape from England to live in Spain, and I did. I successfully lived with the gypsies in Spain. They're the people of the mountains, learned pure Spanish,
Mm.
but there was no growth for me there. So I went back to what I've always known I was born to do, to be on the screen. So as my father wouldn't send me to acting school, I quite understand why he wouldn't. I said, that's it. I'm going to Hollywood and I'm going to put myself into acting school. That's when I actually came here at 19. 18, I was in Spain. At 19, I came to America. I was in the south part of Hollywood, south part of Los Angeles, starting off as a nanny, working my way up to West Hollywood, where all the men are gay. So I knew I was safe. And I then got a scholarship at Lee Strasberg. I was at Lee Strasberg for about 4 to 4.5 years.
Mm.
When I got out into the business, this innocent now, what, 23, 24-year-old, I would do great at auditions. I got callbacks. I even got producer sessions. And then suddenly, some woman, let's just say woman, that's a nice way of putting what these kind of LA people are out here, would get the role over me. And I knew they didn't look like I did, and I knew they didn't have the same acting ability as I did. Little did I realize that these women were, let's just say, on the casting couch. These same women that want to go for the Me Too movement, the same women. I'm very against that movement, but because we've all been sexually harassed. So I realized that it's a very sleazy business. And I was one of those people who wouldn't open my legs for anybody. And I would open my mouth a lot, meaning I'm very proud Republican, so I've always said that. And I kept my lips closed. Now, in Hollywood, it's the reverse. They keep their legs open and they don't say their politics or they're Democrats, I don't know.
Mhm.
But point being is it's a very sleazy business when it comes to movie work.
Yes.
Now, where I made money and I had great success was in commercials and infomercials. That's not sleazy.
Mhm.
But I put myself and I paid for myself to go to Santa Monica College, where I studied broadcast journalism. That's where I found my niche because I love to tell true stories. I love reality. I love life and every aspect of the reality of it. So I went to Santa Monica College and I studied writing news, broadcasting, anchoring, news story, editing. I studied everything in that college. And then I got what's called the audition, which was out of thousands of people in America competing to be the weather girl or the weather guy on KTLA 5. And I came down to the final four people, four. And then it got down to me and, yeah, one guy and two other girls. And then I found out, I'm not mentioning names, that the one person who was way below the other three of us, this one, the fourth one, she got the job because she had some association with, I think it was not the news director, it was the general manager of the station. So again, I didn't realize that the news world was also as sleazy as the film business world. It can be, and it's just who you're related to or who you're sleeping with. So I haven't had much respect for those two fields, but I do have a lot of respect for documentaries, TV shows that are based on reality, commercials, infomercials, reality shows. I've done a lot of reality shows, and I've done MasterChef. I made it from 30,000 home chefs of America to the final 100. So I love cooking, and I cook every day. But it's a home chef. I'm not as professional as a chef that's gone to school for it. But I'm a home chef, so I love cooking. So that's in a nutshell. Something.
In a nutshell. So tell me right now about shows depicting criminals. I think you met a lot of real life criminals right now, correct?
Oh, I have.
Oh.
I've got a lot of them because when I was approached by the production company that had hired me for many infomercials, colon cleanse, teeth whitening, all these things, they said that they are going to do a TV series on inside the mind of a serial killer. And they did not realize that when I was 11, I had family friends that very close to our family were murdered by a mass murderer. So since the age of 11, I've studied the mass murderers and the serial killers' mindset since a young age, but I didn't talk about it because it's not something that ever came up. But when this production company said that they are going to do that show, I said, please let me be part of it. And they said they would consider me to be the host. And I said, I don't want to be the host. I don't even want to be on camera. I want to be off camera, and I want to interview the serial killer. And then I gave the reasons. So they said, you go out and find the serial killer. And I believe that was 2007. Go out and find the serial killer and bring that story back, and then we'll talk about it. So I mean, I used all my Los Angeles County Sheriff's contacts. There was nobody at that time in the LA County jail system that was of a serial killer background. There was nobody in Riverside County or Orange County. But in San Bernardino County, there was a sheriff from LA, new sheriff over there, that was guarding a jail over there where a serial killer was going to trial before getting to death row. And that was the one I latched onto. I latched a story around him, and it was a great story because he turned himself in, and I've never read about any serial killer turning himself in. So you've got serial killer turning himself in. One of the victims was still out there. So there was another part to the story there, and I created this great story. How do we find the identity of the first victim that he killed in 1998? I believe it was 1998. It's a long time ago, but he'd been in jail for 10 years. So 10 years. Hope I've got this right. 2007 was my first ever documentary, and then turned into a book and everything. But he'd been in jail since 1998. 2007. So he was in jail for 10 years. And from there, I was in the courtroom every day, and I was the one with the exclusivity to the serial killer because I didn't want him talking to LA Times or any of those people. Well, I didn't realize, because I gave a fake name. The judge knew my real name, but I gave a fake name because I didn't want any of the media to know that I'm a public figure. So I kept it all secret. Nobody knew, not even the defense. Only the judge knew my real name. Well, the defense put me on the stand to find out my real name, and there was a very jealous, nasty LA Times woman who was jealous of me and jealous that she couldn't get the interview with the serial killer, and she wanted to do an extremely nasty story on me. But when she asked to do a story on me, I trusted her, and she twisted everything I said. So actually, the fake news goes long before Donald Trump and law enforcement. It actually started long ago, and I was a victim of it in 2008, 2007, 2008. So before fake news was very apparent. So.
But tell me, meeting these kind of people, serial killers. I don't know if you have seen Netflix Mindhunters. Have you seen this television series?
No, but a lot of people tell me to see it. It's scripted though.
It's scripted.
I'm not really interested in scripted. I like reality.
Yeah, it's based on real life FBI agents who created the profiling system and they want to meet a lot of people, and it's a dramatization of their years in the FBI. Okay, but I wanted to ask you, does it affect you meeting serial killers or criminals? How do you isolate yourself? And how do you
You mean
how
compartmentalize?
yes, yes, how do you protect yourself from being affected with these kind of people?
Oh,
And
it's a little broken up. It's just
yes,
a little bit broken up. Can you just say the last sentence?
yes,
Sorry.
yes. I was saying, how do you protect yourself from being affected by these kind of people?
I'm not affected by these kind of people at all. To me, it's like talking to the next door neighbor, talking to the gardener, talking to somebody in a grocery store.
Mm,
I don't differentiate.
yes.
When I have, you know, because I talk to them like I talk to you, that's why they open up more. Because I
Mm-hmm.
don't sit back like a psychiatrist
I know,
and
yeah.
fire questions, and I don't sit back like a cop who wants to get information.
Mm,
I do want the information, but I come
mm-hmm.
out back and forth. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. Not a,
Do you think they in the current judicial and prison system, they got better behind bars? Do they get the proper treatment they have when they are caught? When they are caught, these criminals, they got good psychological treatment to become better person. I mean, does the system allow them to to be better, or there are difficulties?
I don't believe that there's rehabilitation for people who are killers, natural born killers. No. So the
Uh-huh.
psychopaths, sociopaths, none of that. That and pedophiles, there is no rehabilitation. That's all absolute nonsense.
Mm.
I mean, maybe if somebody was a petty theft, and he turned his life to God, as everybody seems to do in prison. But I suppose somebody who's committed a few crimes of stealing, maybe, or drugs or something, maybe, but not when it comes to actually taking a life when that life does not deserve to be taken.
Mm.
No, there's no, and when you're sexually attracted to young children, there's no rehabilitation for that whatsoever.
Yes, yes. I don't know if you have seen Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. Okay.
I think I did when I, very much younger. I think I've seen it. It's a black and white film, right?
It's a black and white film with Anthony Perkins, and it was
Yes.
like it is based on a novel, and the novel, it's a dramatization. The main killer, Norman Bates, in the novel is, it's based on real life criminals.
Is it?
I mean,
I didn't know that.
it's based. There was a serial killer called, I think, Ed Goin. Have you heard of him? Ed Goin, something like that.
Ed Bone or Ed Gein?
Ed Gein, yes, Ed
Ed Gein,
Gein.
yes.
Ed Gein. So it was partially based on Ed Gein's, because Ed Gein's used to dress up as in his mother clothes, and as well he killed his mother, and kept kept thinking she's alive, and he used also to bury his victims in his backyard.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm getting at, that it was a fictional film, and it was based on true story. And also, if you see later on with Silence of the Lambs, and the Hannibal Lecter films,
That I
novels, and there are bits and pieces of real life criminals, but they are fictionalized. But
I do know
what
that.
I'm getting at, after Hitchcock did the first Psycho, maybe 20 or 30 years later, they started to revive the franchise again, and they did Psycho 2 and Psycho 3 and Psycho 4 when Anthony Perkins was still alive. And in Psycho 2, what I'm getting at, that his character, Norman Bates, gets out of a psychiatric hospital, and like he's been really rehabilitated, but not 100%, and the killing starts again, and it's really
Can you say that part again?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
once again, just say that bit.
Yes, yes, and his character gets out of jail again, gets out of
Yeah.
hospital. He was confined to a hospital, and they say he's completely rehabilitated, but then other killing started, and but at the end of the second film, we discover that it's someone, like it's a copycat killer, not himself. But
Right, right.
later on in the third and the fourth film, he started to kill again. He started to kill again. What I'm saying all this story because you are the first one who tells me, or that serial killers cannot be rehabilitated. You cannot change them. But globally speaking, after you met all these kind of people, do you think it's something in their genes or something in their family upbringing, or the society or the environment, or it's a accumulation of all of this at once?
I think it's an accumulation. I think serial killers are made, they're not born.
Uh,
They are, there is something genetically maybe slightly different, but a lot of people have something slightly different, but they lead a life that's more normal and they don't turn into serial killers. But then there's sometimes when you're born with something just slightly different, and then you, for example, get abandoned by your family, or you get abused or neglected, or you have a brain injury, well, then that might trigger that thing that was in you or your brain that wasn't quite right. And that lethal cocktail
mm,
can and often does form a serial killer, possibly a mass murderer, but mass murderers are very different mindsets, a different way of killing, different mindset. I have interviewed one mass murderer. I've interviewed many, many serial killers. I don't, I can understand a serial killer
yes,
far more than I can understand a mass murderer. I cannot understand why someone would just go and blow away a whole bunch of innocent people.
but
Whereas a serial killer in their brain,
what is
they
the
will think
difference?
they pick a victim type
Uh-huh.
and they will choose that victim type, and
Yeah.
there's always downtime in between. They think about it, plot the victim type that they're going to kill. Now that is just 99% of serial killers. You can say to me, oh, well, what about this one? Okay, you're right, but I'm talking 99% of serial killers will kill those that they believe that the world, they should be extinguished from the world.
Mm.
Prostitutes, homeless people, drug dealers, drug addicts, people that they feel that the world would be better off without. Sadly, I don't believe anyone should die, but sadly, I can see the mindsets of those serial killers way more than I can see some lunatic going into a school or a cinema and blowing people away or sitting there minding their own business. Innocent children, old people. I love old people, innocent old people. I mean, people who've lived good lives, people with families and kids and grandkids. I don't understand. I don't. I can't. So I'm not really interested to interview a mass murderer because I can't understand them.
Yes.
And I interviewed one up in Death Row, San Quentin. I interviewed one.
Yes. I today accidentally I was discussing with two people the Joker. Have you seen Joker, the movie?
No, I don't like that kind of thing. It's a bit fake. So
Okay, but what we were discussing is something about how these kind of films can affect the viewers in a positive or a negative way. Okay. Uh, do you think films that depicts serial killers or criminals could affect a certain type of audience, or even people watching your own show, could affect people in a negative way, or in a way that makes them copycatting what they see, or infect them, you know?
I do. I do think that especially video games, horrible movies, like the Joker, but also video games. I think it affects people really badly, especially Americans. And I'm not American, as you know, but when I say Americans, I better be more condensed with that. Californians and
Mm,
Los Angeles people. Los Angeles people, it's very different. I know this is one of your questions you had for me, is
yes,
about the cultural difference. I'm a
yes,
European, Western European girl. I'm an English girl. So I'm very, very in the inside strong. I'm very shy in many areas. I'm very shy. But in my inside, I'm strong with who I am. And in Los Angeles County, there seems to be quite a lot of people, especially the majority, they're lost. So they've got to become addicted to porn, to alcohol, to food, to drugs, to even religion. I mean, they're like they have to hang on to be part of or a gang or a cult. You have to be part of something because they are lost on the inside, on the deep inside. So because there are so many people like that that I've seen in Los Angeles County, I'd say California, but I don't want to be so broad, and I'd say America. Again, I don't want to be so broad. So let's go with LA County. There's so many people that are so lost. That means they're impressionable. So they could follow someone. And I mean, I've had many, many stalkers, more stalkers than you probably ever heard of any celebrity having. It's been horrible. So I live actually in secret. No one knows exactly where I live. So these people are lost. So they gravitate to somebody or something they admire or something that looks beautiful or something that looks mesmerizing, and they latch onto it. And their brain will have an altered sense of reality. And I've seen that with a lot of people here. And I think that, yes, it's very bad that children, especially, all children are impressionable, even European English children. They're impressionable when they're young before they're formed. I think there should be an age limit of 21 before you see something as bad as that. And then it should be watched if they keep seeing it. If you know Ted Bundy, the serial killer Ted Bundy, he was addicted to violent porn. And if he hadn't seen the violent porn, he wouldn't have, he says, I mean, I'm just speaking from his mouth, not mine. He said he wouldn't have done what he did. That was in one of his last interviews. So, yes, I think it's very dangerous and very damaging. Not movies like Silence of the Lambs as such, necessarily. Not movies that have a story and the beginning, middle, and end. But way off ones that are almost like you're on drugs, like that Joker, which I have not seen, and video games when they take a gun and they shoot everyone away. The people who are inside the lost souls of Los Angeles or America, if I'm to be broad, there are lost souls in America. There's just predominantly a lot of them in LA County. The lost souls and the children they are made an impression on by these horrible depictions. And I will go as far as this. I think that The Bachelor this season is absolutely a disgrace. I've always been extremely conservative with models. Always. Nothing's ever changed. I've even looked at men and laughed in their face. They can be a millionaire and they think they can kiss me. They must be joking. If you've got a face that could stop a clock, your lips aren't touching mine. I'm not very modest there. But when I see things like even The Bachelor, you've got every single one of these women that came out of that scene. That darling boy, the one that's, I won't watch the show for the first time ever. I'm not watching it because these women have gone from some of them being slutty to the majority being slutty to now all of these women are sluts on this show that I won't lower myself to watch a show that I used to enjoy. I was actually up for that. I had a final callback. And then I told him that the guy was too tall. I don't like tall men, and I don't like men with big muscles and slim waists. I like a little man with a tummy, but gorgeous face. So they got rid of me because that was Jerry O'Connell's brother, and he was very tall, not a great face, and big muscles. So I wish I never answered that. I was very close to getting it about 9-10 years ago when it was decent. So it was decent, and you've got young girls watching it, you've got little kids watching it. And it's extremely impressionable because now, certainly the girls of America, whoever are watching this, they think it's okay to make a move on a man, to just try and kiss a man before a man kisses you, that you can sleep with a man on the first day, that you can, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's disgraceful. This is not how God put us on this world because men have a role, females have a role, and if anyone is going to make a move to kiss anybody, it would be a man to kiss a female. Never the other way around. And this is so damaging to us ladies of society. I'm not a woman. I'm a lady of society. So I'm waiting for a man to kiss me forever, this man, but he's afraid to kiss me because of how the American women that are portrayed in The Bachelor are showing how it should be, which it shouldn't be. It's going against nature. So I will go as far as to say, yes, the video games with violence, movies with violence and sex, and even reality shows that used to be pure and innocent are now as sleazy as everything in the way of movies here, it's really bad for young girls of today and young boys who are impressionable and lost souls who are women, older women, people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, to see this nonsense. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Hmm. I think as well it changes a lot of concept about relationship and love and how two people can come together normally in a natural way. They give a very bad impression and understanding of
Oh, you said the last. I didn't the last bit.
yes. Yes, I was saying it gives a very bad impression about how two people can come together and how can people fall in love and how a relationship can be developed, in a natural way. So
Yeah.
it becomes something related. It's what can I say? It's some kind of it is some kind of prostitution, but it is presented in a convoluted way. I don't know if I can if I can say so. So I want to ask you about something. Did you consider directing a feature document?
Oh,
Did you
oh,
again?
last. I can't hear you.
Yeah, yeah. I will repeat. Did you consider directing? Can you hear me now? Oh, did you consider?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah. Did you consider directing a feature documentary that can be released in cinema?
I haven't directed a documentary.
Mm-hmm. Do you think?
Um, I would love to. I would love to. But
Yes.
I've got so many great story ideas, so many great story ideas. But
Uh-huh.
somebody would have to come to me with the film crew, and I would direct a great one, and I'd tell a great story.
Yes.
But I want to get this country back to where it was, especially the state. But I don't know. It's an uphill battle.
It's yes. It's a long-term battle.
It is. It is.
So
But no, if there were more movies
mm,
like the movie, which is the story of my life, is Love Actually. Love Actually
yes.
is me, English people, Western European, the innocence that we have, the man that does the pursuing, that fights to get to the girl she wants. That's the story of my life.
Mm,
Being friends first, having a relationship as a friend, and then flirting. Does he like me or does he not? You look away when he looks at you, and you go all red inside, and you feel all flustered. That's only what I've ever done in my life.
mm,
So that's how it should be. And that's how America is portraying the opposite. But Love Actually and more movies like that would be perfect. Even
yes.
that Bridget Jones woman, she's gone to hell. In the last movie I saw of her, she was a slut. In that movie, I forget what it was, but it was so shocking.
Yes.
I mean, Bridget Jones, the very first one, 14
Yes.
years ago, was how life should be. But the last one, she was disgusting. She was like pregnant by, she didn't know two different men. How are you having sex with two different men at the same time? You're already a whore right off the bat, right out of the gate. At the beginning of the movie, you're a whore. I mean, I sat through the whole movie. I'm ashamed.
Mm.
But I'm not sitting through The Bachelor.
Yes. Love Actually and Notting Hill as well is very nice.
I haven't seen that in a while, but I think that was one of mine up my alley. But Love Actually is the story of my life, and
Yes.
it's how it's always been and always will be.
Have you ever seen a film called Somewhere in Time?
No,
Okay, try to see it. It starred Gene Simmons and Christopher Reeve, who used to do Superman. It's a very nice film.
oh yes, okay, I love him.
Mm.
Okay,
It's very nice romantic film. Tell me, what is your projects or ideas or aspiration for this year? Mm.
everything I want to do is I want to make sure our public candidates get in the district, in the district attorney's office, in the governor's office. I want to recall the horrible governor we've got now. I want to go moving forward into politics. I want to go into Congress myself, starting with city council. If I stay in California, I want to definitely go into politics here, starting at city council and then the mayor of the town, of the city. And if I don't stay in California, which has been a very big thought of mine and my family, is that we would like to move to either Florida, South Carolina, or Georgia. And then I would really like to work and try to get into Congress for the district that I live in and find out, or assembly. But I'd rather not be with the state, I'd rather be with Congress because I can do so much for my constituents if I had them. I've got so much to give. So my goals for the end of the year, we've got 9 months today, because on November the 3rd, we have a huge election, the biggest that I've ever known since living here for 25 years. And in 1 month today, we've got the primary and the special election for my district to get Mike Garcia in for Congress. So I would say by now to the end of the year, my head is filled with politics, 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 trying to make California great again, trying to keep America great with our president getting in. But I'm focused on all the people in California. And of course, my favorite senator in the world, Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, making sure he keeps his seat. But right now, I'm full-time spokesperson for Mike Garcia campaign, and that's taking up sometimes 7 days a week here in California. So that's my goals till the end of the year, and after that, I want to be in the political world.
So I wish you the best of luck. You have a lot of work to do this year.
Thank you, Sherif. A lot of work.